He had that missed pass, or he left. Debo was wide open.
Yeah.
He didn't throw it to him.
Didn't throw it to him.
Rookie mistake.
Overthrew Ayuk, I think, when he had Debo wide open.
Yeah, exactly. That happened. Very interesting thing happened at the beginning of the game. Debo had the first 2 rush attempts of the game. I thought that was interesting. He hasn't had a carry since, but clearly they want to give him the ball.
Yeah.
And Elijah Mitchell, I kind of liked him heading in this game. He has 2 carries for -4 yards. Right now they're trailing, but I'm thinking fading Elijah Mitchell in the second half might be good. I think Brock Purdy, I've been writing up all year that he's a good running quarterback, and he finally had a big scramble. He set his season high right now. He's at 13 rushing yards. So I think they're unleashing him a little bit in the running game. So we have a lot of different options to look at right now.
Definitely. And looks like it's 2nd and 10 right now for San Francisco with 32 seconds left in the half. So, yeah, I think one thing that was really interesting, as you mentioned, was the Debo Samuel usage right off the bat. They were running him on that first drive. And then Christian McCaffrey breaks a long run on the second drive.
He almost cleared his prop on that.
Yeah, he almost cleared his prop, and fortunately Sean had the over there, so that was a nice big run.
Yeah.
But I think the running back usage here, you mentioned still maybe potentially taking Elijah Mitchell's under, which or finding some way to fade him, I should say, which at -4 yards, I wonder if they'll put up a negative yardage prop. Have we ever seen that?
Maybe. We're still looking for Ray McLeod.
That's right.
Potentially.
To ruin Raybon's day.
No, it's not going to ruin it. He's been out there. That was a good bet by Raybon. But, yeah, Elijah Mitchell, I wrote up in my player prop guide, I thought he was going to have a big second half. I thought the Niners would be up by 10 points by now, honestly. And I thought he was going to have a bigger rushing share in the second half. So the fact that he's been so limited early on, I'm looking at his prop, I'm really liking the under right now. So we're going to wait till halftime, but I kind of want to see what the model says before I lock that in. But
it's an interesting spot here because San Francisco has the ball, and there's a throw to Ayuk, and it is incomplete. But in the end zone there, it was a target toward the end zone. So San Francisco ending with the ball here, starting with the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
So that's something we're going to take a mental note of. If we're showing value on San Francisco 49ers overs and they're starting with the ball, then there's extra value. The same thing applies to Seattle. If we're showing value on their unders and they're not starting with the ball in the second half, there's probably even more value than we think because it really comes down to what San Francisco will do on that first drive, but at least that's kind of the way we would indicate as well. So looks like San Francisco is rolling out the
up by 2.
Yeah, up by 2 there, or up by 2. So they made the field goal. So we are at
hopefully,
13 seconds
we have to see
left.
what the Seahawks do. I think they'll just kneel it, hopefully, because I have Geno's under, of course. But hopefully they kneel it here and we just go to halftime.
Yeah. So I'm gonna update this live model. So San Francisco's up 2, and I need to update their live probability to win. So FanDuel has -480, -410 right as I type that on San Francisco, and they have +290 on Seattle. Meanwhile, DraftKings has -440 and 330. So
I feel like I could be helping you on this.
Yeah,
so
4.4 and 3.3. All right, so we have our live market, and it looks like San Francisco is 77% to win still, which is interesting. They're only up 2, but we have them as a 77% favorite to win. So one thing we'll be looking at is Seattle, in this close game, often you think, teams can still run their offense, but the model's looking forward to, San Francisco is still probably going to be leading at the end of the game, and that means Seattle is probably going to be passing more at the end of the game. So we're still showing that Seattle is probably going to pass about 7% more than their pregame projection in the terms of their pass rush ratio. So that's one thing we'll be looking at as we do head into halftime here. It looks like we have...
Come on, kneel it.
Yeah. Looks like we have...
They're not kneeling it, but...
No, they're not kneeling it. I'm just trying to figure out what that play was there so I can just update the live stats. And we're still showing everything good there, so it looks like...
Yeah, they did like a short kickoff.
Yeah.
So...
So we got 9 seconds left in the half here, and Geno is dropping back.
He's running it.
And he's going to scramble
here.
There we
go. There, we got halftime.
And we will be at half with that. So just need to wait for Geno's. There's a penalty. So we need to wait for Geno's yardage prop, or not prop, his number to update there, and we should be pretty much set in the halftime, so we can look into the live lines. Do you think Brock's going to scramble at all in the second half if this remains close, especially if they're trailing?
Oh yeah, I think even if it's a close game. He was a really good rushing quarterback in college, and I think they've been kind of preserving him because he's their last line of defense right now. They have Josh Johnson backing him up. So they've probably told him, don't scramble if you don't have to, but this is do or die right now. So I think he flashed, we saw that. He had a 13-yard scramble in the first half. He's way faster than Jimmy G.
Yeah,
He's not as fast as Trey Lance, but I think that, his rushing prop is usually, 5 to 6 yards typically. Mm-hmm. So that his over in his rushing yards in the second half is something I'm interested in for sure.
Yeah, so that was a 9-yard rush by Geno, and then Jimmy Ward, my guy Jimmy Ward.
The terrible Jimmy Ward.
Yeah, I'm going to get mean tweets or something. Had an unnecessary roughness penalty, and so Seattle is actually lining up for a field goal potentially here to take the lead going into halftime. So Geno Smith, let me update his rushing yardage there because he had that 9-yard scramble. That puts him at 19 rushing yards for the game. It's gonna be an interesting one because Sean, you're on Geno's under on his pregame passing prop, and right now, based off of where things stand, pending this field goal, it's live. His projection is 244, but they're not going to start with the ball, so it'll be close.
Really, that high?
Yeah, because because Seattle is an underdog, so
yeah. He made it.
Made the field goal, so 17 to 16
does
heading
that change
into halftime. It will change it. It'll change it a little bit. I don't think the live market is going to move too much, but it does certainly mean that San Francisco is trailing by 1. And I just need to update the live market as they come in. So let me do that.
Well, that's one of those ones we have to make a mental note that the Niners have the ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
The second half.
Exactly. So we'll mentally adjust them down as well. But that field goal also helps because.
That's amazing. So where are we showing value?
So. First of all, real quick on pace splits. Let's go talk about pace splits because our colleague Billy Ward, he always keeps track of these pace splits. And right now we're in the close game scenario. So there's going to be no value on either an over or an under because we're showing pretty much neutral pace here based off the close game. We're showing pretty much neutral pace based off first half, second half splits. So we're not looking to take an over or an under here, a live over or under. So we will go to the live player prop market, and let me come over here to the receiving props and see what we have.
Yeah.
So, Sean, who are you eyeing? Where should we start? What player are you thinking of looking at first?
I mean, I think that Brock Purdy's going to have a pretty good second half. Throwing the ball, running the ball. So, I'm thinking Debo. He had that wide open play. I'm thinking his over would be good. They've been targeting Ayuk pretty heavily.
So Debo's live line is 45.5.
Yep.
And we are showing 53% to the over, but they are going to start with the ball, so that helps. So there could be some thin value on Debo there. Where else are we looking?
Let's take a look at Elijah Mitchell's rushing prop. So right now, his prop is 17.5.
17.5 rushing
and he's
yards.
at -4 right now. So
exactly.
And his line heading into the game was about 40.5, I would say. Like that was a good line. I liked it. But they're trailing heading in the second half. He didn't look great. I think they're just gonna ride Christian McCaffrey, give Debo direct handoffs. Purdy's gonna scramble more. I think 17.5 under was pretty good. But what does the model say?
Model says 55.5% to the under.
Okay.
So we are showing value there.
And they do start with the ball in the second half, but he's
it's probably going to be CMC.
He's probably not going to get a touch on the first drive.
Exactly.
To open the half.
So that'll help us even more by the time he does come in. So we might wait to lock that one in first. Let's see what else we have.
Yeah, let's see what else we got.
Brock Purdy, or it's not Brock Purdy, Elijah Mitchell under is where we're looking at first.
Yep.
We'll see, though, if we end up taking that. One thing I want to do is I always like looking at anytime touchdowns and interceptions because I can just take a quick glance at those. Geno Smith, we're showing fair value at plus 150. Brock Purdy plus 300 for an interception as their live line, and that's because Brock Purdy is, the San Francisco is favored. So Brock Purdy plus 300 seems really long. And so if I come here to the passing props and I look at interceptions, just give me 1 second. Well, I click over. Brock Purdy, the live prop is plus 200, but the under is minus 280. So we're at minus 300. So there's some thin value on the under on his receptions at minus 280.
I'm not going to touch that.
No.
The last time they played, he threw a ball right to Quandre Diggs, and he dropped it. He made that errant throw when Debo was wide open. He's making some rookie mistakes.
Yeah, that rookie mistake was one where we don't like it. And then Geno's is no value there as well. So I do always like to take a quick look at the interception props because it's a real easy one to target.
Now, how about DK's receiving yard prop? What do we got for that right now?
It's already a painful reminder.
I know. I hate to
traumatic experience
go there, but his live prop is 103.5.
Yeah, that seems very high.
For most of the first half, everything was going according to plan.
Here's a fun one. We're showing value on his over there at 56%. Now, they're not going to start with the ball, but that's, again, because Seattle is the underdog.
Yeah,
so we are expecting them to throw towards the end of the game if things go according to script.
Yeah.
So we're showing value on DK Metcalf's over on his receiving yards, which means I want to not just bet that.
Yeah, we're just going to pass on that.
Okay. Yeah. But I do think one other guy that I want to look at is George Kittle because I have his anytime touchdown prop if you watched the touchdown show earlier. So George Kittle's receiving yards right now, 38.5 is his live line. And 56% to the under here. San Francisco is starting with the ball, so that doesn't help, but San Francisco is still favored.
Yeah.
So it's a close one there on whether we want to take Kittle's under, but I think where we're aligned is we got to go with Elijah Mitchell's under.
I think we have to
We're going to go with Elijah Mitchell. We're locking in our first bet for Bet What Happens Live in the new studio for Wild Card Weekend. Elijah Mitchell under 17.5 rushing yards. That is bet number one for Bet What Happens Live. Where else are we looking?
Let's look at Brock Purdy's rushing prop.
Yeah, let's.
So his live prop right now is 16.5. So that's going to be over 3.5 yards in the second half. And typically you want to project him around 6 to 7 yards to begin the game, but I think he has the ability, if he wanted to rush for 20 or more yards a game if he had to.
Yeah.
And I think we're going the second half in a playoff game. He's going to be more willing to scramble. So what does the model say, though?
The model says 60% under because,
because of the pregame projection.
Yeah, the pregame projection. And it is one of those situations where we're not showing model value, but kind of watching the game. Models are models, right? They're intended to interpolate between a bunch of data. But then you watch the game and it's like, okay, maybe things are changing a little bit from our pregame priors. So we have to mentally adjust some things in addition to our statistical model. So probably no value on the Brock Purdy prop either way as far as we're concerned.
How about Christian McCaffrey? Let's talk about him. So he's at 109.5. So if we're fading Elijah Mitchell, is there an opportunity on CMC to go over?
There is. There is.
Okay.
We're at 51% to the over, which wouldn't be enough on a betting line at like a minus 110. But if we think he'll get the bulk of the work the rest of this way, then we could mentally override that as well.
Yeah, I just think closer game script. Like I said, I thought they were going to be up by 10 or more by now. But since it's so close, he is going to dominate the rushing share here. The first two plays of the game was Debo direct handoffs, or the first two rush attempts, I should say, were Debo carries. He hasn't had any since then, so I think that was just a game plan going in. Yeah, we're going to get Debo touches, and then it's been McCaffrey the rest of the way. He's looked great. Seattle's run defense is terrible. They rank last in EPA per play since week 10, so the second half of the season. They're falling apart. So this is just a great spot for him. We kind of saw that happen. But I think there could be some sneaky value. We're already on Elijah Mitchell under. So
yeah, and so let's think about this.
That's tough.
So Seattle's up by 1.
Yeah.
So San Francisco, they're not in panic mode right now. Obviously, it's just a 1-point game.
Yeah.
1 score will do. But where do we think, based off what we've observed in the game and based off of the situation, where do we think the TDs might come from?
Ooh,
if we're looking at anytime touchdown market potentially.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would want to look at the 49ers. And, again, I think investing in Debo in the second half is probably the way to go here. And let's see, what's his live touchdown prop? Because you had that one before the game, right?
Yeah, I had Debo's Debo's pregame touchdown prop. So just looking out there, we have TD score props. Debo is at plus 360. Our projection for Debo right now puts his live anytime touchdown at plus 320. So there's some value at plus 360. Yeah. So since I'm already on his pregame, Sean, you can
let's
if
double
you want
down.
To,
let's
if
go.
You want,
with
we can double down on it. So
yeah,
we're gonna throw half a unit on it.
Okay, yeah,
because we don't need to go crazy on Debo.
Yeah,
we're gonna go half a unit on Debo Samuel, plus 360 anytime touchdown, doubling down. Shout outs to our guy Gilles Gallant there for Gilles Gallant, I should say. Let me get the pronunciation right. For anytime touchdown bets as the touchdown guy for the Action Network. So we're going to go half a unit there, and then we have the Elijah Mitchell under for 1 unit there. So 2 bets right now on Bet What Happens Live, and I'm just looking.
Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, we got time for one more. So where do we want to go next? Another touchdown? Do we want to look at any other receiving or rushing props?
Yeah, I'm looking. Noah Fant, his receiving prop right now is 21.5. Mm-hmm. He has 11 receiving yards, but he's splitting time down the middle.
We're showing 62% under at 21.5.
Wow. Yeah, because I think he probably needs 2 receptions to get there, and he's still splitting work with Colby Parkinson.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one, and Parkinson, he has 1 catch for 4 yards. Yeah, like that's another one I'd be interested in because it is a close enough game script where I think the Seahawks they're still going to be able to lean on the run game.
Yeah.
They don't have the ball to start the second half. Mm-hmm. Noah Fant probably needs 2 catches, and if let's see what his receptions prop is right now. Maybe there's more value there. Okay, so it's 2.5. The under is minus 155.
So rest of game receptions for Noah Fant, we have projected at a 1.7 receptions for the rest of the game.
Okay.
So I don't know what you make of that as far as.
But the under on his receiving yard prop is 60?
61% under.
Wow.
60% under. Yeah. So one of those situations where Noah Fant. Maybe there's some undervalue here, especially because they're not starting with the ball.
Yeah.
If we look at receptions, so receiving props for Noah Fant, total receptions.
The under is minus 155. That's
minus 155. So too much juice there, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I would
to do that.
I would go with the yardage if I were to do something.
Yeah.
And he's a mixed bag when it comes to ADOT, but he's typically a low ADOT guy. He could actually get 2 receptions and stay under this.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah, so I just think since it's so close, he's one player I was considering in the close game. Again, they're going to lean on the run.
So if they're going to lean on the run, Kenneth Walker, what do we think there? His live prop is 86.5. And he currly has
54
yards, 86.5.
What does it say?
It says 57% under.
And they don't have the ball.
Okay. So that might have to be the one we roll with. Especially, this might be a good spot where, like, if San Francisco scores.
Yeah.
If San Francisco scores on this first possession, this might be a spot where we take Kenneth Walker under. Or even if it looks like just San Francisco's driving the ball.
Yes.
This is a spot where we take Kenneth Walker's under. So maybe we don't bet it yet, but maybe this is a spot to monitor for the first possession.
Yeah, that's.
And then if Kenneth Walker is, still showing 57, 58, 59% under, because the clock's going to tick a little bit.
Yeah.
And San Francisco, if they move the ball, then obviously their live win probability is going to increase. That should decrease Kenneth Walker's projection even more. So I think this is a good spot to wait for San Francisco. First possession, see if they move the ball, and then take Kenneth Walker live under on his rushing yards.
Love it.
Well, I think that's going to do it. We've got 3 bets for y'all, or 2 bets and 1 spot to look out for. Yeah, 2 bets and 1 spot to look out for. So we are on Elijah Mitchell under 17.5 rushing yards. We're on Deebo Samuel for half a unit, anytime touchdown. Take that at anything over plus 320. And then we're going to watch San Francisco's first drive. If they start moving the ball, we're going to take Kenneth Walker under on his rushing yards. So, Sean, good show there. First show in the new studio for Bet What Happens Live. Thank you to Bet365 for sponsoring the show. And we'll be back with another Bet What Happens Live presented by Bet365 for the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Los Angeles, not the San Diego, Chargers. And so tune in then as we make more live bets. I'll have Gilles Gallant with me for that one. And that'll do it. Enjoy the second half, everybody, and good luck on your bets.